Oh, I wonder if old Uncle Mike's in today. Maybe he'll explain how he gets all those paintings made. Oh, I sure made a bunch. Oh. Hello, how you doing today? Easel Talk. I think this is 9. It could be 9. I think it's 9. Welcome to my studio. Yes, it's a bit overcast. I enjoy the natural lighting though. We're getting plenty of light into this lens. Sorry for that noise. Hopefully the audio is good for you. The topic of today's talk is based on a chapter from my latest book, Working Methods. That's Volume 1, Technical Foundations. Now, that's been written and actually formatted too. But I'm going to have to go in and reformat it because my editor Ash hasn't edited that one yet. So it's pretty close to what's there. But I've done volume 2. It's done. I mean, it needs someone to look over it to catch any little niggling things. But it's done, and I started on volume 3 for the print edition a couple days ago. Anyway, working methods is so important, getting yourself set up with some good, positive habits that are going to kind of carry you through those rough patches. That's really the key, I think. Well, there's so many, but that is a fundamental key. So, the name of our talk today is the 6 pillars of sustainable studio practice, or the 6 pillars of a sustainable studio practice. We'll see what the thumbnail has to say. This is a framework for artistic evolution and consistent creative output. You're going to enjoy this talk. I think this is a good talk. A lot of times, I just kind of wait for it to burble up. What we're going to talk about next. Last week's talk was on philosophy. I haven't really looked at the views. Hopefully it's doing well. And, I'll do these. If there's 2 of you that come and show up, I'll do them. Of course, everyone likes, to know that their work is being received, So leave me a comment. Leave me a lot. Likes. Likes are so easy. Why aren't you guys liking everything? Just click. There you go. Introduction. Okay, the evolution imperative. I'm going to read. This is actually really pretty good. And of course, it's from my book. Accomplishing interesting and successful landscape paintings consistently isn't just about talent. It's about developing intelligent working methods that evolve with your growth as an artist. Over decades of painting, I've learned how you work is often as important as what you paint, and that's really true. Today I want to share the 6 pillars. The 6 pillars that have transformed my studio practice from chaotic bursts of activity to sustainable momentum building creativity. Now, before we get into that, I have a bit of an advantage over many artists. First of all, several. One is that because I was in the commercial art field, I know what it means to show up and have to do something and get it out the door, and for it to have to be commercially viable. No, not everything I do is commercially viable. I think it is, but depending on the market. When you're a commercial illustrator, you have a job to do. That's the market's already created, and then you fill it. This is different. Fine art's different. Fine art is tough to market. Whole another talk, but we'll say fine art's hard to market because you create the product and then you have to find a market. That's a lot harder. Anyway, I have an advantage in that you have a process. If you got to get things done, you need to come up with processes. The job comes in, you roughly schedule when you need to get it done. You start doing your reference collection and things like that, and then you proceed through and get it done. And of course, that'll all be great for another talk, another day. So, but suffice to say, for this talk, I have that experience of having to show up and get work done, and that's really what I'm imparting to you. Even if you say, well, I'm just a hobbyist, I just try and find time. Great, that's great. When you do find time, I recommend you hit things a certain way consistently so that you're supported, because all these variances like I need to find time, things like that, they eat away and erode at your output. And so I'm not here to I guess I'm here to help you get your output up. I'm here to help you become more masterful with your painting. Yeah. So pillar 1. Systematic preparation. Readiness is the foundation of spontaneity. Yeah, true freedom comes from having boards prepped. It comes from having a bunch of reference that you're interested in painting. Those are the two main things. Yes, I've got a fridge with my palette set up, and the fridge is good because it keeps the oil paints drying a little slower. Some people immerse their palettes in water. That works. I have had this fridge, the power go out and it defrost. my whole palette full of oil paints is full of water. I just take it outside, shake it off, get to work. Yeah. So my personal evolution. Initially, when I first started teaching myself to paint, I would, do what I recommend to you. I did have several boards prepped, and I went out and shot some nice photos of the perk ponds in Campbell there. And then I had done some, prep work in Photoshop for those. I had a folder of images. But I was pretty much sitting down after my work day. I had an area set up in my kitchen. Like I'm telling you, you need to have a spot set up just for working. Even if it's one of the seats at the kitchen table, that's just for your painting. That's fine. That's what I did. Actually, the whole kitchen table was devoted to painting. But, whatever. We all have different circumstances. But, I would just go after each painting one at a time. But after I came to New Zealand, I started thinking, in terms of series. So a lot of times I would do 8 to 20 images. I'd get them all prepped. I'd get all the boards prepped. And I'd go through. And this sort of energy was sort of very much in play when I was involved with the 100 Days of Tonalism as well. I mean, I went and did the 100 boards. 100 Days of Tonalism, you can find the playlist in the channel. It's really where the channels start. Sorry, I'm going to have to sneeze. Sorry about that. This is a no edit. Sorry about that. Better to just apologize and then edit later, I think. Because, why? You want another tip? You want to be a YouTuber? Don't make it hard. Just put your stuff out there. Okay, that's what I'm doing here. So when I enter the studio each day, I'm usually thinking, what size do I want to paint? But sometimes, like the other day, right now on the channel, there's Ocean Beach. When I came in, I'd had a really positive comment about another Ocean Beach painting. And I thought I'm going to do Ocean Beach today. So then I found the board. I found the reference. I found the board. One of the two. But I know I'm going to come in. I know I'm going to paint. And I don't always know. Am I going to make a bigger painting, smaller painting? What I'm going to do. Sometimes that painting could take several sessions to complete. Or I could get it all done in that day. And we'll talk about that as we go here. So you want to have an adaptive workflow. This is pillar 2. We're already on. We're moving. I'm going to try and get this all done today real quick. Flexibility creates consistency. So you want to have flexible systems. They often produce more consistent results than rigid ones. My current approach allows me to respond to the day's energy and inspiration rather than force myself into predetermined patterns. So yeah, when I was doing the series thing, I'm just slogging through. I would do all the underpaintings, and then when those are done, do all the first pass. And back then I was doing 2 and 3 passes. And it would take, a month to get through everything. And after a while, I start to feel really constrained by that, especially since really what's going on. Making sure you're tracking. You tracking me? Good. You keep on me. What's always going on, what's always operative, especially the earlier you are in your painting journey, is that some of your work's going to be good, some of it's going to be bad. And with that process, I was kind of saddled with bad things for a while, hoping I could save them and things. I way prefer what I do now, where I know I'm going to paint. I have hundreds of things ready that I could paint, but quite often I come in the morning and just whip up something brand new right then and there. I'll either get into my raw reference folders, or if I need to, I'll do some reference or research online, that sort of thing. Yes, I evolved from rigid series progressions. Yeah. Yeah, I've given you the whole rundown there. I'm either thinking of a certain reference that day that I've been wanting to paint, or I'm thinking of a certain size. And if you followed my channel for any length of time, sorry for the sniffles, you'll know I do everything from really, not that small, but 3, I think my smallest was 2.5 by 2.5, right on up to 20 by, I haven't gone 20 by 30, close, 16, 28, yeah. 3. Pillar 3. Strategic completion. Momentum trumps perfection. The third pillar recognizes that completing work regularly builds more artistic strength than creating occasional masterpieces. So, a big part of my working method, my working process, is to always be moving forward, always be creating. Always be creating new paintings too. I'm not the guy, this is not the channel for, we are on step 18 of creating our masterpiece painting. And that's not to say I'm not interested in creating masterpieces, but in my experience, masterpieces tend to occur once in a while, and it's regardless of circumstances. It's the right reference, right size, right mental outlook and framework at the right time will create a masterpiece. The intention to create a masterpiece, it doesn't always add up to a masterpiece. It could do. Everyone's different, so I'm not saying I know everything about everything, but just take that on board. We talk about momentum and the power of there's a whole 40 minutes on it, because I think it's so important to keep moving forward. Let that carry you through, as opposed to these stochastic kind of bursts of doing some stuff and then a bunch of nothing, and then in the nothing you're sort of going, oh, I'm not doing anything, and it's just not productive. Just do a little something every day, and that'll be all good. Hold on, I have to blow my nose again. Sorry. At least Mama McCarthy taught me some manners. Yeah, these days I want to create an entire painting in a day. Sometimes that doesn't work out. I'll tell you what I do. I mean, there's breaks. So underpainting, maybe that's all that happened. I got one there. I'll be finishing it. That's like a bigger version of one that I did as a 6x8. And I had a really good intention that day, but I sort of suspected I wouldn't be able to come back and finish it. And so the underpainting's sitting there waiting for me. And in some cases, those underpaintings sit there for a long, long time. That's okay. Next break is I get the underpainting done. I've got time to get in and get the sky done that day. So I might do a pre-mix, come and do the sky. And then that works out real well, because the sky can be doing its own drawing thing. It doesn't really interfere with the landscape elements that are on top or over in front of it. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you maintain a steady working rhythm, whether individual paintings are very good or very bad becomes way less important, because you're just producing lots of paintings. And this is the thing I've been trying to clue you into for a long time. And I understand that the artistic impetus is different for everybody, you know. But Uncle Mike, as I said in my last video, I'm a bit of a vanguard here. I figured out some of the systems that will help you maintain your practice. And it doesn't matter what your personality is. If you put good systems into place that'll carry you through, as I said earlier, the rough patches, the places where maybe your morale is low, or you're in a slump, or you're finding it hard to get motivated. These working methods will fill in those gaps. Because the best way to get out of any of those is just to paint your way out. Absolutely. 4. We're moving right along. We're doing good. How are we doing on time? We're doing really well on time today. I'm hoping to make this a half-hour talk. I went over last week. And I was talking just like this. But we're on 4. Reference liberation. This is, actually, I left this in. Got a bit of a hair in there. I left this in because this was part of my old modality, my old way of thinking. I don't often do studies now, but it was a valuable part of my transition away from being so reference dependent. And so what I would do quite often is I would do a small study of a scene I wanted to paint, and then a larger version. The larger could be much larger or just a little larger. And quite often, instead of referring to the reference photo as I was working on a larger painting, I would mostly refer to the study. Now, I did have an example of this, and that actually is great, because this is, I've been already working on that video. It's a, where is it? Did you know you could buy the book? Landscapepainter.co.nz. The book cost $65 US. It's got to be here. There, right there. You'll see that one. I call it Sepia Lake, because the lake's in the background. I really like that painting. And this is the story behind that. I did a quick version of it. The video didn't turn out well, so it never made it on the channel, which really made me sad, because it was a nice painting, which is sold. It was based on a pictorialist reference. I don't remember the name of the photographer. Oh, one of our channel subscribers did inform me as to that, and I was able to use that information to find an even better version of the reference that I used. Anyway, as I just told you earlier in the video, I'm working on formatting. I was finishing up formatting volume 2, and it has a back cover with my marketing blurb, and I needed a 5x10 type image, 7x14, the 2 squares abutted panoramic image there. I tried very hard to use the original that I'd done of that scene, but it was a compromised video screenshot. It just, the quality wasn't there. So I determined, okay, I'm going to make a copy of this painting, because I want to use it for the back of my book, which is great. That's perfect use of this study modality that I did use in the old days. So what I did was I made a little more extensive grid, and of course all this will be in that video too, but whatever, we're talking here. And then paid a little more attention. I followed the original painting I did in that drawing stage to get everything where I wanted it, as opposed to just kind of free painting from the reference again, which if I had done, I'd have something that was divergent, and I wasn't that interested in being divergent. I wanted something that mostly cleaved to what I'd had before. And that's not typical of me. I am way more interested in the divergent variations that come from visiting a reference again and again. But in this case, I had a mission. And so what I did from there was I used the my original, an image of my original as my reference. That would be very much like I'd use a study here, the way I outlined here. And for the drawing, and then when it was time for the color, I pulled up the photo reference just to get some looseness in there, because what can happen when you're trying to make these exact sort of copies, everything gets really stiff. Watch out for that. Could be a whole video of its own. Anyway, that's pillar 4. Pillar 4. Pillar 5. Studio flow management. Keep things moving to keep creativity flowing. Keep things moving, keep creativity flowing, folks. There. Why is this over there? I'm going to make a painting on it. I don't know about today. Many boards here. Just out of sight. Computer full of references. And as you can see, my drawing area, and we talk a little bit about that in a minute. And you can see that changes. That's my backdrop. That changes every week, right? There, now we're in focus again. I got boxes of paintings over there. Once they go into the box, I don't think about them too much. And that's the thing. If you find like you think too much about your work, you're obsessing, you're worried about how things aren't going well, you're not doing enough paintings, because you want to just dial it back, pull it all back, work a little less hard on each individual painting, and spread that energy amongst a lot of paintings, because it doesn't make sense to try and perfect something that's imperfect. It's going to take you a while to bring up all the different aspects of painting that need to be addressed: the composition, the color, the value structure, your proportions, all of these things. It's not infinite. It's not infinite. It's in 4 volumes, and I've written a book, so it's coming, where I address every one of these things. Yeah. Let's read a little bit. The 5th pillar recognizes that physical studio management directly impacts creative energy. There we go. I have a dedicated drawing area, and that holds 8 to 20 paintings. It probably is 8 to 20. When full, yeah. Well, when full, I shovel things around. Right now, we're getting to a situation where quite a few of these need to be coated with liquid, and that's the thing. I'll wait till it gets pretty much packed, and then I'll have a day where I just go through and coat them with liquid. And cautionary tale, if the painting's been dry for a couple weeks, you're all right. But if that painting's been dry just for a few days, don't hit it with that liquid, because there's a bit of spirits in that liquid that could eat away at your paint. And that's not good. It's really sad, because then you lose something where you really want to try and retain things, gain things. Retain or gain. Yeah, so this is a place, if I have friends come over to the studio and we're talking, generally they're in this chair right here. And I'm looking at my stuff in the background as I'm chatting with them. I'm spending some time with them as I walk in every day. My gaze turns to these paintings, and quite often, I think I pointed out in about 2 or 3 Easel Talks ago, where there was a bough on a tree that was wonky, and from one Easel Talk to the next, you could see the painting had a bow and doesn't have a bow. But that is that painting right there, yeah. And that one's more than ready for liquiding now. But I like to wait. I like to hold off. That could be, well, any of these things could be turned into extensive talks. Now, how are we doing? We're doing great on time today. Okay. Pillar 6. Present moment focus. Artistic attention is a finite resource, best spent looking forward. Now, when I was reviewing this today, this would have been from my original chapter, but that is such a key idea. And in this AI age, we can see how intelligence being used by other entities works. They've got a lot more capacity to remember things, move faster, quicker. What do we have as humans? We have a finite amount of attention in the moment, but it's intrinsically valuable when that attention is expressed artistically. And to the degree that you develop your ability to express that, that is the journey to mastery. And that takes something that's already intrinsically valuable and just pushes it up into the stratosphere. So that's what I'm all about. That's what Uncle Mike's all about. He's all about putting you on that journey. Well, you're already on your own journey to mastery. I'm not putting you on the journey. I'm just trying to help you get as far as fast as you can. But it's very valuable to realize that you don't have infinite capacity. You already know. You don't have infinite capacity to remember every picture you've ever painted or every picture you've ever seen, as the AI does. You have a limited capacity, but that limitation is the universe experiencing. That's limited, but it's also infinite. So we're back into philosophy. Sorry. Yeah, well, not sorry. Because I'm a philosophically inclined fellow. But not, like I said in last week's talk, I'm not going to be reading any Kierkegaard. Okay, I'm not interested in that stuff. I'm interested in applying my mind to the problems of my contemporary existence. That's what I'm interested in as an artist and as a human being. Okay, the 6th pillar addresses perhaps the most crucial aspect of sustainable studio practice, where you direct your creative attention and energy. As an artist, I'm always most interested in the painting I'm going to be working on or the one I just worked on. The further back it recedes, and everyone's different, I realize this. Some people are far more past-centric, but it doesn't matter if you are like a person that's a past-centric type or not. If you are a person that wants to be an artist and wants to accomplish some mastery with your work, you need to put the focus on what's happening right then and what's happening next. And that's where all the energy in the world really is. There's not much energy in the past. It's dead. Essentially, it's dead. It doesn't really even exist. What we have from the past is artifacts. And I don't have a painting I can pick up, but you know what I mean. We got artifacts, and that's great. I love it. That's what I'm in, the artifact business. Okay. While I appreciate all my paintings, the older a painting is, the less I'm enamored with it. This isn't just because my skills improved over time, it's because artistic attention and focus are finite resources. So I don't have time to worry about what came before. It's more a curiosity to me. It's like, oh. In fact, some of the things on my walls here in the studio are getting quite old. I'm quite accustomed to them. But that's the other thing I want to talk about. We'll just touch on it because we're doing okay on time. We're wrapping things up soon. But I've been doing it 15 years, but I can remember the struggle at 5 years or 3 years, and even sometimes the feelings of despair. Like, how am I going to get this? How am I going to? Why am I not better? Why am I not better is a great question. I can't answer that question, but I can tell you how to get better. How about that? You get better by following Uncle Mike's working methods here. And put the focus on what you're doing and the next one. And don't try and make it your masterpiece. Forget this whole masterpiece idea. That could be its own talk. I could lecture you about that for a half hour. Easy. Easy. Yeah, every moment spent dwelling on past work is energy not invested in current growth. This forward-looking orientation serves artistic development better than nostalgic attachment to previous achievements. Trust that your best work is always ahead of you. What great advice. Look, it's even bolded here. That's nice. Conclusion. Oh, before we conclude, let's recap the 6 pillars. Pillar 1 is systematic preparation. Be ready to paint. Pillar 2 is having an adaptive workflow. You know, don't get too tight like I did with my series thing. Be flexible. Maybe series work for you. Everyone's different. I'm not saying don't work in series. I'm saying that find a workflow that's adaptive, that supports your creative impetus. Yeah. That's pillar 2. Pillar 3. Strategic completion. Completing work regularly. Just finish it off and put it and move on. Just keep moving. Don't leave a bunch of things half done. If it's a painting of a scene that's not going well and it's absolutely... I'm not checking that. It's not going well, it's absolutely tanking. Yeah, throw it away, bail on it. But maybe also you could try to do your best to complete it. And if it's not absolutely abysmal, just put it someplace it's not in your face all the time. And you might find that a year down the road, when you have more skill, you might be able to easily fix it. You know, whatever. Yeah. But always be working to completion on all your stuff. Don't set up giant masterpiece type things that are going to take you days, weeks, or years to complete. Focus on doing things that are maximizing your ability to have attention in the moment. So you can carry that through. Like a lot of times my paintings are happening in a 2 to 4 hour window. Now, granted, that's based on skills that are 15 or more years in the making, but the criterion's the same. I would still try to do those paintings in a more rapid window. I'm not checking my phone. Don't you worry about it. You are the priority. You're very important. Reference liberation. Yeah, well, I would say you can liberate yourself from the reference by making studies, or you can just remember this is a whole topic of another chapter in the book, so I won't go too far into it, but because reference is a real trap. But suffice to say, your reference is your reference, and there's a lot of stuff in there you don't want in your paintings, so just remember that, okay? And that'd be great. Well, we'll be talking. This is number 9, so obviously we're into a system that's sustainable. And you know what? I'm using the very same principles for these easel talks as I'm telling you, use for your own studio practice. You know, yes, I could edit this. Yes, I could have a complete outline. Yes, I could read from a prepared script. Well, I have a pretty good outline. But everything is set up so it's all designed to capture the impetus of the moment. And then it is what it is. Okay? Yeah, boy. Okay, pillar 5, studio flow management. Yeah. Make the painting, put it in your drying area, have an area for your drying where you can look at things. When things are dry for a good while, give them a coating and put them away. Maybe some of the better ones, put them in a frame, put them on the wall, sell them. You got what I'm saying. Pillar 6, present moment focus. Now is the time you paint in. Don't worry about what you've done before. Don't worry about comparing what you're doing now to what you've done before. Because sometimes you're going to hit these. A lot of times when you're right on the crest of breaking into some new territory, you'll find that your work takes a dip, and you might ask yourself, "Why am I not as good as I was, a few paintings back?" Don't stress about that stuff. Just keep painting. Paint your way out of it. So that's the 6. That is the 6 pillars of a sustainable studio practice. Now, evolution continues. This is the conclusion. These 6 pillars aren't fixed rules. They're a framework for thinking about a sustainable studio practice. The key insight is that working methods should evolve as you grow. Yeah, take all this and adapt it to your needs, your personality. You know, I'm not telling you I know everything. I know what works for me, and I can back that up with output. I have painting output. Paintings, videos, talks, books, music. I don't even get into that stuff here because I know you guys don't care too much. The music's behind all this 15-minute videos, though. Yeah. The goal isn't to find the perfect system and stick with it forever. The goal is to remain thoughtful about your process, continually evaluating what works well while improving aspects that can be enhanced. The best working method is the one that keeps you painting consistently, growing steadily, and looking forward with excitement to each new painting. How can you support M. Francis McCarthy? He's working hard. He's working hard to teach you. Well, I'm going to spend some more time too. This supplies page, it's under this video. Click on it and buy yourself some paint. Buy yourself that Treacle 6. They have them at Amazon. And if you buy it through that link, they're going to give me some money. I guess they will at some point. I think I filled out their thing. They'll give me a gift card. And you know what? I just bought. If I make any money, I put it into like this camera equipment, or I put it into paints, or I put it into I want, like I said, a lens. I'm still hoping one of you is going to send me what I need for it. Oh, well, I know it's going to come. But I want that 85mm Art Z lens. Yeah, because right now I'm like quite far back. I'm way over there, or I'm way over here. So I want to be like kind of where you are, away from the painting. Yeah, anyway, it'll happen. It'll happen with your support. And we had a bunch of people joining the Studio Pass area. So that is great because I'm putting a ton of value in there. So the more people that join, the better I feel about all the work I do. And that work is creating transcripts, making sure the reference is in there, making sure that I can pack in as much value. And yes, I hear you about the scraping on the palette. I'm working on a better audio solution as far as that goes. And same thing goes for your own practice. I could wait to do this sort of stuff until everything was perfect, but don't do that yourself. Just create and then put it out there. Start your own YouTube channel with your own paintings. Why not? You know, we can all watch you struggle. Like you guys get to watch me struggle. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this talk. If you can find a way to support me, please do. Please like, comment, and that's it for this week's Easel Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you did. And until I come back with another one, take good care, stay out of trouble, and did you know you could buy the book landscapepainter.co.nz? The book cost $65 US. Did you know?